Welcome to the 23rd episode of Season Tickets. I'm Michael.
And I'm Max. Our debate this week is about the college football playoff rankings that came out yesterday. What do you think on Florida State? Do you think they're too high or too low in the rankings?
They're way too low in the rankings. They're undefeated in a Power 5 conference. I don't care what you say. If you're undefeated in a Power 5 conference and you're ranked behind teams that have one loss, that's just crazy. Either respect it or make it the Power 4 conferences and remove the ACC.
I think Florida State is just right. They have not beaten any good teams. Like their best win is Louisville, who lost a bunch of their some of their best players from last year, and Louisville is barely even ranked. That's pretty bad. And they've been struggling with teams in the first half, and it's going to catch up to them sooner or later. And Alabama and Oregon ahead of them have actually beaten good teams. They lost at Ole Miss, and Oregon does have that loss to Arizona, but Arizona is a top 20 team, and Florida State hasn't even beaten a top 25 team this year.
There's a difference between a good loss and no loss, in my opinion, but that's just me.
Yeah. What do you think about the Baylor TCU thing? I think I gotta go with Baylor should be higher than TCU because Baylor just flat out beat them. It really does not matter. Baylor beat them head to head, and Ohio State is ahead of Michigan State. And because Ohio State beat them head to head, Michigan State lost to Oregon, Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech. That's a huge difference there. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think Baylor is the most disrespected team in the country. Top 10 total defense, top 20 scoring defense, top 5 total offense, and the top scoring offense in the country. You can't fake those stats. They also have 2 of the best wins in the country. They won against TCU, which is a top 5 team, and also at Oklahoma was the best win of the season in a metric that uses the score of a game in it. So how is this team 7? They lost to a West Virginia team who also took TCU to the last second. And I think that there's a conspiracy theory about keeping Minnesota in the top 25 because they lost to Ohio State and didn't move down. And I think they're staying in the top 25 just to give Ohio State and TCU another top 25 win. So there's a reason that Baylor isn't ahead of them, which I think is just crazy. But I think Baylor's totally disrespected.
Yeah, I don't got anything about conspiracy theories, but I just think Baylor is a little bit disrespected. Them and TCU should be switched.
And now we're going to go into our upset picks of the week, and I have Iowa beating Wisconsin. I know Melvin Gordon ran all over the Nebraska defense, but I think Iowa is a good football team. They're 7-3, and I think they can get a win in this game. What's your upset pick, Max?
I got Notre Dame over Louisville. Notre Dame needs a big win against the top 25 team after the past 2 weeks. Just pathetic. They lost to Northwestern, who scored 9 points against Michigan.
UCLA plays USC, and we both have UCLA.
Arizona plays Utah, we both have Arizona.
The Lions play the Patriots, and we both think that Tom Brady can keep his hot stretch going.
The Cardinals play the Seahawks, and we both have the Seahawks at Seattle.
And now we're going to also be previewing the games over Thanksgiving break because we won't have a show on then. Arizona State plays Arizona in a big rivalry game, and we both have Arizona State getting a bounce-back win after losing to Oregon State.
USC plays Notre Dame in another big rivalry game, and I'm going to go with Notre Dame. Again, I think they need these next couple wins to prove that their season wasn't really a complete failure.
I got USC. I just think they're really ready for this game, and I think the Pac-12 is a really underrated conference.
Georgia Tech plays Georgia, and we both have Georgia with the way they've been running the ball and playing lately.
Mississippi State plays Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss can get a win even without Laquan Treadwell. I just think Mississippi State just is a little overrated and just isn't good enough to beat Ole Miss.
I got Mississippi State. I think that they're a better team than Ole Miss right now. Ole Miss is without Treadwell, and Mississippi State still played Alabama pretty well for the most part. And I think that they beat Ole Miss.
Ole Miss beat Alabama, just saying. Wow. But Auburn plays Alabama, and we both have Alabama.
And then on the college basketball, a bunch of good tournaments going on that week. And in the Maui Invitational, we both have Arizona winning the tournament. Not as good as a field as it normally is, but still should be a good tournament to watch.
In the Legends Classic, I think Villanova can get a win over some other powerhouse, like VCU and others.
And speaking of VCU, I got them winning. VCU is a top 20 team this year. Always plays good defense, well-coached team. I think they win this Legends Classic.
In the battle for Atlantis, which is probably the best tournament with many strong teams like Wisconsin, North Carolina, Florida, Butler, Georgetown, and UCLA, we both have Wisconsin versus North Carolina in the final, but I think North Carolina can get a win in the final. Marcus Page and their offense is just too good for Wisconsin.
Yeah, right. Wisconsin's going to win that one. Frank Kaminsky is going to dominate North Carolina, and he's going to lead the rest of the squad. Wisconsin will beat North Carolina in that game.
North Carolina has too much speed. But on to the Orlando Classic. I got Kansas winning that one. I think they bounced back from a big-time loss against Kentucky, which, it happens. Kentucky is probably the best team in the country, and I think Perry Ellis has a couple big games to lead them. What's your pick?
I got Michigan State, who also suffered a tough loss last night against Duke. But I think they're a well-balanced team. Brendan Dawson, Denzel Valentine, and I think that they can beat Kansas.
And that will wrap it up for the 23rd episode of Season Tickets. Make sure you come back next time as we recap all of these games and more.